This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, a brand new segment where I highlight current and former Flathead Valley area players, coaches, and sports figures celebrating the best athletics our valley has to offer. The Flathead Valley Sports Haven is powered by Logan Health, and today's guest is Chris Manley. Chris is president of the Northwest Lacrosse Association. He joins me to talk about building a youth sports movement in the valley, from growing the game to shaping young athletes and leading a nonprofit organization. This episode dives into what it really takes to develop the next generation of competitors. Chris, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go ahead and just start with who you are, where you came from, and what got you into lacrosse in the first place.
Yeah, so I grew up playing lacrosse back on the East Coast, born and raised in upstate New York, a small town called Penn Yan. My neighbor got me into lacrosse at, I think it was in second grade. Went to a camp in the summertime and just stuck with it from there on out, and went to college, played Division I, graduated, and then helped start a program down in Miami, Florida for a couple of years, spent some time in the military, and then we started visiting the valley when I was in the military, and we loved it. So we moved out here for the lifestyle, and been in the program for about a year. And once after last year coaching, the woman I coached with, Courtney Lab, she helped me get into on the board.
So talk to me about growing the game a little bit.
Yeah, so growing the sport, lacrosse in the valley specifically?
Just in general.
Okay. So growing the sport, especially here, there's definitely some challenges. As we spoke before, geographically speaking, it's really hard to get more players in when you have to travel as much as we do. So that's our biggest challenge right now. So finding ways to get kids engaged is our biggest challenge right now.
So you serve as president and coach here at Northwest Lacrosse. I know it's all about dedicated to growing the sport in the valley. Take me through kind of your role. You're in a leadership role, athlete development, and all that. So what is your role, and what are you trying to do, and how are you trying to, in a sense, build up this Northwest Lacrosse program?
Yes, like you said, I was brought in to help grow the program. And so some of the things I'm trying to incorporate are some new off-season programs. Not to make it a year-round sport, but just to offer it as a supplement to some of the other sports that the kids play. One of the other things that is going to be my biggest challenge, I think, is developing the coaches, because lacrosse hasn't been around here very long. We have a lot of volunteer parent coaches, and so hardly any of them have played lacrosse in the past. So watching YouTube or just a couple clinics that they've gone to, that's where they really get it from. So one of the things I'm trying to create is some more clinics for them to learn, basically teach fundamentals, because that's, in my opinion, that's one of the things we're lacking a lot right now in the valley is good, proper fundamentals. So teaching that is the baseline for everything.
Now, there's two different programs, right? You have a youth level and a high school level, right? And you focus more on the youth level, correct?
Yes, we focus on grades 1 through 8, where the high school focuses on high school 9 through 12.
So take me through, in terms of that youth level, how do you get maybe kids interested in lacrosse? How do you get them excited about it? How do you get them excited about knowing it's maybe something a little different? Maybe they've never heard of it.
Yes, that is the challenge that we've been facing. Right now, we've had our learn to play director. He goes into the local elementary schools, and he does it as a PE class. He gets with the PE teachers and offers it for a couple days to a week. It also checks the block on the Native American studies for PE, because lacrosse was a Native American sport originally. So that's how we kind of introduced the sport.
Never knew that.
And then we hand out some bracelets with our QR code, hopefully to get some registrations from it, or even just some of the off-season programs, because it is tough, like I said before, to really get kids to jump into a travel league, because we're a rec program that is treated like a club because we have to travel. So maybe to get them in the fall league that we're going to start up next year, which is an in-house sevens league that we're going to do. That's kind of what we're looking at doing.
And this is for kind of anyone and everyone, right? Do you have to be in the valley to be a participant of this team? Or are you guys located here in Kalispell?
We're located here in the valley. We would take them from anywhere, but it'd be challenging for them to come from, say, Libby to come down here for practices twice a week.
So you kind of touched on the challenges of building participation and awareness, but I saw, Cash McKay, Wakefish High Schooler, he signed on to play collegiately at the next level. I know that was a couple of months ago. How big does it help, though, maybe for those younger kids to see maybe an older kid sign and know that he is going somewhere else? Do you think that helps down the line here?
Oh, absolutely. I think it inspires kids, gives them that opportunity to play at the next level.
So you have a lot of experience, obviously a huge background in everything. And then obviously we're in a world where there's an open world for everyone. Here in Montana, you got every sport under the roof. So talk about competing with maybe some of those established sports. Football, obviously the most popular sport probably in America. Montana is also a big wrestling state. Baseball is growing here at the high school level. How do you kind of establish yourself? Maybe, I don't necessarily want to say compete with other sports, but in a sense, just say, hey, we're here. We'd love to have your kids, give them another option to maybe do something else other than sitting on the couch.
Yeah, so I think, like we talked about before, just getting the stick in their hand and getting them out to play is the biggest challenge, because I firmly believe once we get that opportunity with a kid, usually they stick to it, because lacrosse is a great sport. It's a lot of fun. It's fast. It's competitive. There's a lot of contact on the boys' side. And typically we have a lot of success.
And lacrosse is kind of a combination of a bunch of different sports, right? It's almost a mix of soccer a little bit. It has a little hockey element. There is a little football, like you said, the physicality. What maybe makes lacrosse so much different and maybe makes it maybe a little more alluring in that sense?
I think it's the speed. There's a saying, the fastest game on 2 feet. It is definitely a very, very quick game. The ball moves quick. Players are up and down constantly, a little bit quicker than soccer. It's at the pace of hockey, in my opinion.
So let's go into this organization here a little bit more, and kind of on your side, what does it take to run this kind of volunteer-driven sports organization?
It has a lot of challenges because we're all volunteers. We're not just running the board; we're also basically running a business. So we have a lot of challenges with that. Time is the number one constraint that we all have. So working through some processes and getting communication in line outside of that once a month board meeting is probably our biggest challenge right now.
So I would say probably fundraising, right? Trying to build up enough money to take these kids to be able to travel. We talked about it before we did this, about one of your closest games is probably Missoula, which is a two-plus hour drive just to play, 2 games?
Yeah, exactly. So back where I grew up on the East Coast, you'd have a 2-hour drive. You might get 60 teams that you could play. Here, you got 1. So our weekends are pretty full with tournaments. That's the style we play. We find the most success with everybody doing a tournament. You get to play 4 or 5 games in the weekend. But that's our biggest challenge right now.
And I was going to say, I know Dom Malfieri a little bit because he coaches the high school level. So you're already starting to see maybe this get integrated here in the Valley. So how do you build? How do you find a sustainable way to, whether it's to keep growing or whether it's to expand a little bit?
So I think we are growing. Every year we grow just a little bit. My goal is to try and get us at 10% every year. I think that might be a little aggressive, but if we can get there, we can get there. But really, it's just getting, like I said before, getting sticks in kids' hands, finding new ways to do that. And my biggest challenge right now, or what I'm challenging my parents, is to be my number one recruiter. Tell your kids' friends, hey, I think you'd be really good at this sport. Why don't you give it a shot? And I've offered it to some of my kids' friends on their soccer teams. It's like, hey, just come over to the house. I'll hang you a stick. We'll play a little bit. And so far, I've got a couple kids from that style.
So what is the lacrosse, before we get into the athlete side of things, which I'm really curious to delve into, take me through, what is the season for lacrosse? Is it a fall sport? Is it a spring sport? Is it something that here in Montana can be done spring and summer to maybe not compete with high school as much? How do you, what is the season for it?
So
really?
Traditionally, it's a spring season. High school starts in March. College starts in January, and it goes through the whole spring. But the way things are running now, there's a lot of summer club teams traveling, and that's where you kind of take it to the next level, play on those summer travel teams that are typically a tryout team, and you travel around the country.
So a way to avoid maybe that competition with other sports, especially here, is have it be late spring, early summer type of.
Yep, that's one of the ways we're working towards bringing some folks in to help with that summer problem. So, because again, we're all volunteers, so it's hard to run one internally. So we're bringing some folks from out of town to help run those.
Perfect. Okay, I want to get into the athletes here a little bit because this is why you do it. You do it for the young kids to give them something different to do, to get them active, to get them outdoors. Take me through when you have maybe, I don't know, a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old that picks this up and falls in love with it. What's that like for you?
Honestly, it's a lot of fun. One of my greatest memories as a coach was when I was down in Florida. We had this kid, he seemed like he wasn't really into it. But then I realized he wasn't confident enough. And so I took him aside one-on-one. This was almost 3/4 way through the season too. I took him aside one-on-one and just worked on him, just passing and catching. And finally we got one back and forth. Then it turned into 3. And then we got up to 20 at one point. And you could see the light in his eyes. And from that point forward, because of the work he put in that week, we had him start that next game. And that was the confidence he needed. And he just blossomed from there. And from that point on, he started every game the rest of the season. And that was probably one of the most rewarding things as a coach.
Oh, that's awesome. How about the traits of a successful young athlete? We hear it all the time when they're younger, you would just kind of want to get them into it, get them moving and everything. So what do you maybe look for in terms of what you can coach? What's maybe the intangibles that you can't coach? It's got to be probably speed and jumping like anything else.
Yeah, so outside of the physicality of it, the mental game is a big one. And so one of my biggest lessons I teach my kids is accountability. If you can be accountable for not just your actions, but the controllables like your effort, being responsible for the mistakes you make, that's my biggest trait that I think that an athlete needs to have.
Perfect. All right, Chris, we're going to take a quick time out. We'll be back after this quick word from Logan Health.
Is pain or weakness holding you back? When the pain cramps your lifestyle, consider joint replacement. At Logan Health Orthopedics, their total joint program provides proper education, support, and guidance during your journey. Orthopedic nurse navigators walk you through the entire process, from decision to recovery. Their surgeons use the latest technology to get you back to activity quickly with less pain and fewer restrictions. Visit logan.org/ortho to learn more. Get back to what you love with Logan Health Orthopedics.
Back from the break here on the Flathead Valley Sports Haven. Cole Havens here, hanging out with President of the Northwest Lacrosse Association, Chris Manley. We talked about this before getting on to going into the multi-sport participation. We've seen it. You've probably seen it a little bit more where you've seen a little mix of both, from multi-sport athletes to specialization. Where are you at on the multi-sport athlete train? Do you like multi-sport athletes? Do you want to see more specialization? Where do you kind of land on that?
Multi-sport athlete, 100%. I think that kids if the kids are interested in another sport, be that one sport athlete. Some kids are geared for it. But in my opinion, me personally, I needed to play 3 sports. I played football, hockey, lacrosse. If I just played one all year round, I would have probably dropped out, to be honest with you. The other thing is, we talked about it before. I was looking up that specific question, geared me towards looking up a statistic.
Yeah, I was going to lead you into that.
Yeah, it was I think 70%. If you're one sport athlete, by the time you hit 13, 70% end up quitting. And then
it's even more on the girls' side. You said,
even more
right?
on the girls' side. I was talking to our high school women's coach, Joni, and I can't remember the exact percentage, but it gets even more for the female side because of social matters, physical matters, things like that. And so it's really. I really believe in being a multi-sport athlete, not just to keep the variety, but also I think playing multiple sports complement each other.
And then also something else that we were talking about is not just the exposure, but it seems like maybe across America, I don't think you quite see it in Montana as much, but you're going to start see it in these smaller states as well, is the maybe monetization of youth sports, maybe taking youth sports too far. Talk to me about balancing that fine line of getting these kids out there, getting them the exposure, but also knowing, hey, this is a lot for the parents. And I mean, it's a great dream to be able to go pro, but maybe less than 1% of people out there go pro. How do you balance that to give them something to remember, but at the same time not break the bank and have it be something that can be fun for athlete, parent, fan, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I think that's the reason why we're trying to keep, in the Valley specifically right now, trying to keep it a non-for-profit, just because it keeps it cheaper and it makes it more attractive for kids to come and play. And then if they really want to take it to the next level, they can go do the club sport in the summertime, fall, and winter. I think monetizing the game, there's pros and cons to it, right? There's the pro is you get better coaching because the coaches are getting compensated accordingly. But the con, I think, is they're trying to entice kids to be more of a one-sport athlete to keep that money in the system. So I just think there's pros and cons to both sides of it.
Okay, yeah, I like that. How about, obviously we know lacrosse, like any sport's going to enhance overall athleticism. So give me the big reason why if you're a football player, you should play lacrosse. Why if you're a basketball player, you should play lacrosse and vice versa.
I think footwork, especially for like a football player, it really increases your footwork. I'll use the example earlier. To be honest, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Dom was telling me the kid from Glacier High that is going to West Point next year for football. He played lacrosse, and for last season came back for the football season, and the football coach was like, "What did you do to him?" He just played lacrosse. So I think it really helps balance and complement your athleticism.
Another reason to be a component of being a multi-sport athlete, right? One sport's only going to help the other one, right?
Absolutely.
So let's go take me through your time here in the Flathead Valley. You've only been here for a couple of years. Take me through what this experience has been like for you being here so far.
It's been pretty quick, to be honest with you. So, well, today's our first day of practice, so I've been in the program for exactly 1 year. Yeah, exactly. And so I coached for the Courtney Labs. We coached our daughters in the 3-4, our third and fourth grade team. And so after the season, she kind of persuaded me to join the board and be the board president. And so I happily complied, and it's been a lot. It's been a time commitment at first, but to be honest with you, I think it's going really well so far. I think we have a great board. The members that we have are very, very dedicated to the game growing, and they put a lot of time into it.
I love it. How about for you, what makes Flathead Valley athletics unique in general?
So it's challenging. I'll go back to the challenges because of what we have here. I mean, we moved out here for the lifestyle, the outdoor activities.
There's a lot of that.
And then geographically speaking, like our competition is very far away. Everybody has to travel a lot. So I think that's what's unique about being an athlete here. In my opinion, you have to be more dedicated to the sport.
All right. I didn't really think about that. How about in general? You said you came from Washington, obviously. How is athletics maybe different here? What would you say is maybe a differentiator from Montana athletics to whether it's Washington or even in Florida? And maybe in your opinion, what makes athletics out here better?
That is a really good question. We might have to come back to that one later.
Just kind of thought of it on the spot. So how about we'll go with why does lacrosse belong here in Montana? How about we go with that one first?
I think lacrosse belongs everywhere. Like I said before, lacrosse is a phenomenal sport. I think it's one of the most exciting sports in the world. Just got added to the Olympics for the next Summer Olympics, by the way. And I will say this, I am partial to hockey. I like hockey better. I just wasn't as good. But lacrosse is like a very close second.
It's basically hockey on grass, right?
It is. It's just such a fast-paced sport. It's very aggressive. There's a lot of contact on the boys' side.
But men and women can both play it, too.
Both. And I think honestly, of all the sports I've played, I would say besides maybe it equates to basketball and hockey with like the team concept. You have to be a good team player to play lacrosse.
Well, and it's very kind of like basketball too. It's very skill driven too,
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So having it's not just you using your hands, you're using a stick that's in your hands, and so you have to really become very proficient at using that. And so one of the things we have the kids do a lot is we call it wall ball. Wall is your best friend. So it seems so monotonous, but find a wall and just go throw the ball against the wall repeatedly. And so that's what we're trying to push our kids to do.
All right. How about for this Northwest Avalanche Lacrosse Club? Give me kind of the vision. Give me maybe whether it's the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. What are you looking to accomplish? How are you looking to grow?
So these next probably year to 2 years, my biggest push is trying to grow our coaches. I think our coaches are going to drive culture, get returning players. And that's what's going to drive success for our program is starting with the coaches. So I really want to develop them. I think I think the goal for the entire board is try to get at least 2 teams per grade level. And then eventually I would love to see, and this might be like 10 years down the line, I would love to see every high school have a team. That's what I would love. I mean, it might not be sanctioned by the state.
I know there's a few high schools that do have some. Like I know a couple of the Missoula schools. I think Hellgate was 3-time state champions or something.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar, to be honest with you, with the high school level with Missoula.
I know some of the AA schools have a high school team.
But that'd be my end goal is really just having maybe Columbia Falls, Whitefish, Glacier all have a team. That'd be really unique to see.
I like that.
Because then you don't have to travel down to Missoula to play juniors competition. You have a couple teams in the Valley to play.
Well, with the Valley the way it is, I mean, you had a Pulse and a Ronan, you had a Eureka who's still nearby. If you can build up the Flathead Valley in general and get maybe a small club here in the Valley, so that way you have maybe 4, 5, 6 different teams that you're traveling within 20 minutes to play.
Absolutely.
At least it gives you something.
Absolutely. And I don't know how long it'll take to get to that point, but that would be the ultimate goal, in my opinion.
You know, I don't know. I just kind of thought of this too, because I mean, I was in Wyoming for a few years where Wyoming offered just about every sport under the sun for high school athletics. Lacrosse was building up where I was at in Wyoming. And sometimes it's awesome to see all these sports at the disposal of a kid. At what point, though, do we get to maybe have too many?
I don't think...
Is that such a thing?
I don't really think that's... I mean, obviously you can't play everything, but I think the more, the better. So let kids figure out... That's what we try to do as my wife and I with our kids is like let them experience as many sports as they can. They like it, great, stick with it. If they don't, let's try it. If you want to move on to the next one, move on to the next one, and then if you love it, let's stick with it.
How important is it? You have kids, so this might be a good question for you. How important is it to get your kids in sports, not for the aspect of putting them in sports, but for the aspect of how sports is a metaphor for life?
Yeah, personal growth, absolutely. Mm-hmm. All the challenges you see, both physically and mentally, I think it translates over to personal life, 100%. I think also kids have to stay busy. They have to have a routine. So keeping them engaged with something outside of school is extremely important. Otherwise, like nowadays, you have TV, iPads, or at least push them outdoors. Let's put it that way. So I think there's a lot of relevance to sports and personal life.
All right, I want to go back to the uniqueness question of Flathead Valley sports and how, in your mind, maybe sports in Montana is better than maybe a Washington or a Florida.
I think you have a lot more conservative people here who show a lot more dedication, and I think that's what is more unique about this area, especially compared to like places like Washington, where they're
kind of goes back to the specialization a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where maybe more opportunity out here. Maybe you're more likely to be a multi-sport athlete that's going to maybe make you more maybe well-rounded as you go forward, whether it's playing collegiately or even just in life.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that statement.
It's a good way to put it then. How about give me an idea of you? Because you've talked about you played, you've coached, you're a president, you're going to coach a little bit more. Talk to me about that journey for you and what that's been like to, in a sense, get to do all 3 of those milestones.
It's been pretty fun. Being the board president and trying to drive like the culture of the coaching and some of the new programs we're trying to do, it has its challenges, but it's also been fun to be integrated into it. I still love coaching. I took a step back this year from coaching to kind of be more of a floater coach because of the coaches, the parent coaches that we have. We don't have hardly any of them had played lacrosse or had background in lacrosse. So, like I said before, like YouTube is one of their biggest resources. So this year, I started running some clinics, and then also I'm going to be floating around from practice to practice. So if they're struggling to get a concept across or teach a fundamental, that's where they can just say, "Hey, Chris," and they'll grab me, and I'll just go over their practice for 30 minutes to help.
Kind of a hybrid role.
Exactly. Help educate them and the kids at the same time.
That's awesome. How about give me your biggest advice for young athletes and parents alike?
If you're going to do something, do it 100%. Yeah, and I say that because you never know what you're capable of until you really put everything into it. And if you don't put everything into it, you don't know if you're going to love it or not.
Perfect. And how, if someone wants to be a part of this Northwest Avalanche Lacrosse Club, whether it's a first grader, whether it's a freshman in high school, how do you get to be a part of this program? What do you have to do? Is it reach out to you? Is it send this program an email? Do you stop into a physical location?
There's our website. That's the best resource. You can look for updates on social media as well. But go to our website and there's a registration page and link on there. You can register for our current season and our off-season programs.
And that's nwavalanchlax.com, correct?
No, it's Northwest Lacrosse.
Northwest Lacrosse. Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's the high school.
That's the high school one. Okay, Northwest. Oh, there we go. Gotcha. Northwest Lacrosse. So just Google Northwest Lacrosse, and it's the first one that pops up.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So you do fall, I'm assuming maybe winter indoor stuff, but fall and spring.
We haven't developed it. Next year's going to be our first year developing the fall sevens format, where we're going to do 7-on-7 versus like what traditional field lacrosse is 10-on-10. And then next year we're going to incorporate some skills clinics in the wintertime. Move it indoors and do some specific fundamental skills.
So brand new sport. I shouldn't say brand new, but fairly new sport here in the Valley. Highly encourage everyone to check it out. I know, again, getting to know you now, I already know Dom Alfieri. I know this program's ran by some really, really good-minded people that are not only going to take care of your kids as athletes, but as people as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So perfect. That's all I got for you, Chris. I thank you for coming on. Any last thoughts? Anything else you want to touch on before you get out of here?
No, just thank you for having us and giving me the opportunity to promote the game.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.